I knew there was something wrong with Matt Gaetz. Nestor not going to like this, but you think Nestor has had to talk to Matt Gaetz and be like, do you think that Nestor calls him dad? Father, what have you done? Stay out of this, Nestor. He's just a weird Wait, was it Gaetz? Or was it someone else who was hitting on Tiffany Trump? Who was, do you guys remember that? There was some congressman who was trying so hard to fuck Tiffany Trump. You remember that? Was that Matt Gaetz? Yeah, it was. That was him. Look at him, just thirst. How down bad do you have to be? Just thirst posting after Tiffany Trump. My man, just complete freaking weirdo. He's trying to get it in. Matt Gaetz, you remember that guy? So Matt Gaetz, he is a Republican congressman from Florida, one of the wonkiest states in the union. I think that's putting it lightly. Said something to Elon Musk, one of his great compatriots. He lives like a capitalist every single day, and he said, "If there's ever a scandal about me, please call it Elon Gate." And then Matt Gaetz said, "Deal," and he said he wants Gaetz Gate. That's so funny. Man, that's crazy. That's really cool. Oh, would you look at this? He got exactly what he wanted. This is a story, ladies and gentlemen, about being careful what you wish for, because he got exactly what he wanted. Matt Gaetz is said to be investigated over the possible sexual relationships with a girl who was 17, who he trafficked across state lines, allegedly. Representative Matt Gaetz, Republican of Florida, and a close ally of the former president, Donald J. Trump, is investigated by the Justice Department over whether he had a sexual relationship with a 17-year-old and paid for her travel with him, according to 3 people briefed on the matter. 3 people are now saying that Matt Gaetz, they're hunting him for some random girl that he may have had sex with and trafficked across state lines. It was not clear how Gaetz met the girl, believed to be 17 at the time of the encounters, about 2 years ago, that investigators are scrutinizing, according to 2 people. The investigation was opened in the final months of the Trump administration under Attorney General William P. Barr. That's Barr for you. And the 2 people said, Mr. Gaetz' national profile, senior Justice Department officials in Washington, include appointed by Mr. Trump, were notified of the investigation, the people said. The 3 people said the examination of Mr. Gaetz, 38, is part 38, dude. Even if, okay, listen, okay. Even if he didn't actually perform the big statutory rape, what are you doing hanging out with like 17-year-old girls and traveling with them all the time? Unless that girl is like your niece or something, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like Congress is out of session. You have a lot of spare time, so you just like pick up a bunch of like random 17-year-old girls and start flying them around the country with you, just for the memes or something. What? Yeah, probably. It was just a joke. It was ironic. Listen. Like Gaetz walks into Congress and there's no one else there. Pelosi isn't there. Kevin McCarthy isn't there. It's just Chris Hansen. And he says, take a seat. Oh no, what's happening? So also all the people who say that this is like a political political job on Matt Gaetz. No, this was actually started by Donald Trump. And Gaetz was one of the people who stuck his neck out for Donald Trump the hardest. He was one of the people who actually voted against certifying lots of the, he was pro voting against certifying the election results in the joint house, in the joint session when they were certifying the votes. He was up there arguing that we should throw all these votes away because Donald Trump doesn't like them, and what Daddy says he doesn't want, he will not get, or something along those lines. So this has nothing to do with politics. This has everything to do with Gaetz being a creepy fucking weirdo. All right, my bad. The reason they're investigating him is part of a broader investigation into a political ally of his. You really, man, it's really interesting how you get caught up with the sort of people that you hang out with. What gets you to be looked into like this? Who are the type of people that you're spending time with that are being investigated by the Justice Department for trafficking minors? Really? Huh? It's almost like this whole like sort of like a child kidnapping cabal or whatever is really doesn't seem to really be on the left too much. I mean, every time we hear about this, it's all these people surrounding Donald Trump. Huh? Interesting that. A local official in Florida named Joel Greenberg, who was indicted last summer on an array of charges, including sex trafficking of a child and financially supporting people in exchange for sex, at least one of whom was underage. You know a lot about people by the friends that they keep. And it seems like the friends that this guy keeps may not have been too savory, huh? What happened to those big old family values, Mr. Gaetz? What happened to those family values? Mr. Gaetz seems to go right out the window when little girls are involved. Apparently, man, he's like a pimp. This is like a tiny Epstein situation, you know, like a smaller version of Epstein, just like a Florida congressman. It sounds exactly like what Florida officials may be doing in their spare time, allegedly, you know, just allegedly. That's all. Mr. Greenberg pleaded not guilty last year and was sent to jail this month for violating the terms of his bail. He's scheduled to go on trial in June in Orlando. And these are the sorts of people that Gaetz keeps around, and one of the reasons why he was maybe talking about leaving Newsmax. So this dropped a couple of days ago, but Matt Gaetz was talking about, man, you know, there's so many opportunities for me out there that I just may be leaving Congress sometime soon. Who knows if I even run for re-election? They're just, you know, me, I have so much talent. I'm so cool. There's so many things that I could possibly be doing that he is eyeing up. He was saying that he was eyeing up getting a job at Newsmax, kind of trying to parlay this whole political thing into something that actually matters for him, which is getting lots of money. So maybe it wasn't that he was thinking about leaving Congress voluntarily. It's more like he's going to get ousted from Congress for, you know, trafficking children. And what really makes it interesting is that there was a trafficking bill, a sex trafficking bill that made it so that you would get harsher sentences if you were convicted for sex trafficking people, just doing human trafficking in general. And this bill actually flew through Congress. You know, it passed unanimously through the Senate. But the thing is, there was one person who voted against the sex trafficking bill in the House, and that was Matt Gaetz. Now, when you vote against these bills, okay, I didn't think it was because he was against it, because he was the one doing the trafficking, all right? But being the lone no vote, sticking your neck out that far to be the only person to vote against a bill like that in Congress, now that has to say something. Now, I'm not saying this necessarily means just about anything, but all I'm saying is, you know, it looks a little bit curious to be the only no vote when talking about a sex trafficking bill, but that's okay. You know, nothing to see here, right? You know what there is to see? Him on Tucker Carlson. So let me tell you, this is one of the possibly strangest things I've seen in a long time. So Matt Gaetz was trying to clear his name of all this wrongdoing that people are alleging him of, right? This came out and he's like, no, this definitely wasn't me. Haha, I would never do something like this, guys, right? You know me, I was just kidding. You know I was kidding, right? He went on Tucker Carlson to clear his name, but it seems like he did nothing of the sort, and he even tried to drag down Tucker with him. Let's take a look.
Congressman, thanks so much for coming on. Appreciate it. So this is obviously a serious allegation. Tell us what the truth is from your perspective.
It is a horrible allegation, and it is a lie. The New York Times is running a story that I have traveled with a 17-year-old woman, and that is verifiably false. People can look at my travel records and see that that is not the case. What is happening is an extortion of me and my family involving a former Department of Justice official. On March 16th, my father got a text message demanding a meeting wherein a person demanded $25 million in exchange for making horrible sex trafficking allegations against me go away. Our family was so troubled by that, we went to the local FBI. And the FBI and the Department of Justice were so concerned about this attempted extortion of a member of Congress that they asked my dad to wear a wire, which he did with the former Department of Justice official. Tonight, I am demanding that the Department of Justice and the FBI release the audio recordings that were made under their supervision and at their direction, which will prove my innocence and that will show that these allegations aren't true. They're merely intended to try to bleed my family out of money.
Dude, they're just trying to bleed my family out of money. Wait, so you're telling me this investigation started by Bill Barr, William P. Barr, Attorney General for Donald J. Trump, started this investigation, signed off this investigation of you when it was a political hit job? Really? Oh my gosh. History clarified. Why are you so nice? Oh my goodness, that's so nice of you. I really appreciate that. Thanks for the tier 1 gifted sub to Akinator. Is that how I pronounce your name? Thank you so much for, I really appreciate that. Thank you. That's not gross if the guy is rich. No, that is, that's definitely a take that one human being could possibly hold, I guess.
We're promising that Joe Biden would pardon me. Obviously, I don't need a pardon. I'm not seeking a pardon. I have not done anything improper or wrong. Now, Tucker, and I believe we are in an era of our politics now, Tucker, where people are smeared to try to take them out of the conversation. I'm not the only person on screen right now who's been falsely accused of a terrible sex act. You were accused of something that you did not do, and so you know what this feels like. You know the pain it can bring to your family, and you know how it just puts people on defense when you're accused of something.
Tucker Carlson is thinking very hard about whether or not he should cut this interview. Right, look at that face. He's like, excuse me. It is true. Everyone in Fox, just about all the dudes in Fox News have been accused of groping, sexually assaulting, or harassing the women who work under them. So yeah, I mean, Tucker definitely has been accused of all this stuff. It's really curious. I want you to look into that. So
salacious and awful, but it did not happen. It is not true, and I believe.
It is not true. It did not happen. It would definitely not be like that. Okay.
The only people, I believe we are in an era of our politics now, Tucker, where people you did true and the face the
referred to
here.
You just referred to a mentally ill viewer who accused me of a sex crime 20 years ago. And of course, it was not true. I'd never met the person. But I do agree with you that being accused falsely is one of the worst things that can happen, and you do see it a lot. Let's go back to the investigation.
Okay, I didn't even know that happened in Tucker Carlson. Like, let's get back to the investigation, but Gaetz wasn't done yet. Gaetz wasn't done yet at all. He wants to keep talking about Tucker. Actually, honestly, I'm starting to think that he may want to drag Tucker down with him. You know?
Again, I only know what I've read in the New York Times. I can say that actually you and I went to dinner about 2 years ago. Your wife was there, and I brought a friend of mine. You'll remember her. And she was actually threatened by the FBI, told that if she wouldn't cop to the fact that somehow I was involved in some pay-for-play scheme, that she could face trouble. And so.
Don't you think it's really interesting how all of these people keep getting accused of, oh, they were doing this, oh, they were doing that, oh no, what? I just keep getting extorted for these things I may or may not have done, you know? Just people keep bringing people like, hey, give me $25 million and I won't talk about how you left the butter sock in my daughter's asshole, you know? It's just like, we all know that definitely didn't happen, right, guys? But, you know, I'm just thinking, I don't know anyone. And I'm like, I don't want to say I'm like connected to some famous people, but I know people who are, you know, who are very public people, have not been accused of all of these sorts of things like these two men right here. It's just really curious how people can like say all these things. It's starting to make you think. Besid Great. How do I pronounce your name? Besid Great. Thank you so much for the follow, for joining the frenzy and being so incredibly pog. I appreciate that. Remember that one time we hung out, Tucker? Hey, Tucker, you remember when we hung out that one time and you brought your wife and she was so pretty and it was a great time. You remember, you know, how you were probably accused of sexual assault too? Yeah, that was crazy, right? But it's just like me. We're both innocent, right?
I do believe that there are people at the Department of Justice who are trying to smear me, you know, providing for flights.
Oh, so like Becky D. Great? Oh, thank you. Okay, I'll try to remember that. Thank you.
Providing for flights and hotel rooms for people that you're dating who are of legal age is not a crime.
That is a very, wait a second. That is a very manicured statement. Wait, what? Flying and providing hotel rooms with people that you're dating who are of age? Yeah, Gaetz.
Legal age is not a flights and hotel rooms for people that you're dating who are of legal age is not a crime. And I'm just troubled that the lack of any sort of legitimate investigation into me would then convert into this extortion attempt.
I don't remember the woman you're speaking of or the context at all, honestly. But
Again,
I have no clue what you're talking about, but okay. So yeah, this is and that was they ended off by saying he went on to be like, yeah, I'm an outspoken conservative, and you know, people hate us conservatives, aren't you right? We're out here in force and we're doing the best that we can to make this country great. Isn't that right, Tucker? He keeps talking about Tucker. And then Tucker shuts off the interview and he's like, damn, that was like really weird, but we'll keep up with it. We'll keep up with it too. Matt Gaetz, you make me uncomfortable. All right. I knew something was wrong with you by the way that you look. Matt Gaetz looks like a fucking a villain from Lazy Town. Okay. And everyone knows that's true. All right. I'm sick and I'm tired of it. And I think it's time for him to stop. All right. And if this is what takes him down, I mean, go ahead. Like you said that he was turned down by Newsmax for that job already. That was really funny. He's just like, oh yeah, I may work at Newsmax sometime. Newsmax didn't even reach out to him. They didn't want to be a part of this guy at all. They're already dealing with massive amounts of lawsuits that they're getting so far. So I don't think they really want to take on any more liability like that. You know, I mean, come on. You know, we already have to deal with all the defamation lawsuits. We don't want child trafficking lawsuits on there as well. You know, that's just not a good look. We'll keep up with that. We'll see what comes of that. That'd be extremely interesting to find out where people are going with that one. But Matt Gaetz, you're a weirdo. You gotta stop. So I guess we'll just see what happens.